and I think that this is a game that'll put a lot of our prospects, it'll give them a real challenge. It'll put them to the test. So look out for that in that game tomorrow. Actually, it's at 1 p.m. tomorrow. So look at 1 p.m. Eastern time, that is. So check that out. Now for the U23s who are competing in Olympic qualifying, they finished their group with 2 wins and a loss. The loss was a 1-0 defeat to Mexico in a game where they didn't really they didn't put everybody out there. Jason Kreis, who the manager, didn't really he didn't play the full roster because you had already qualified for the semifinal. You were already going through in the group, so the Mexican game didn't really matter as much. But it was still a USA versus Mexico game, and I don't care what level that game is on. If those two opponents are going up against each other, there's pride to be played for. It was not the greatest performance that I had ever seen. It wasn't the best performance by any means in this U23, in this group stage. It was probably one of the worst out of the 3 because they did lose, but also just play-wise, it didn't seem like they could string, 10 passes together for some reason. It wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it. It was a little sloppy, and they have shown better quality than what they did in the Mexico game. And I know that it wasn't the first 11 that Jason Kreis wants on the field. It wasn't the best 11 that you can field, and it'll be different for this game against Honduras tomorrow at 5:00 in the semifinal. They're gonna have to play better. In this game against Honduras is a worthy opponent. They are not bad at all. They topped their group, and they have not lost in the tournament. I think they have a win and 2 draws. And they were tied with Canada on points in that group, and that is who Mexico will be playing. But they were up on goal differential. So Honduras, it's not something to take lightly. And this semifinal game, a win tomorrow, puts you into the Olympics. This is one of the biggest, most vital games that the U.S. have had in a long time. And I know this isn't the senior team. It's just the U23 team. But this is what qualifies you for the Olympics. It's a big tournament going on in Tokyo this summer. You want to win this game. No. You have to win this game. You don't really have a choice. You got to win this game. So they need to string up better play, look a little more quality, and take on this worthy opponent in Honduras with force and try and string out. They got to get a victory. I can't stress that enough. And I hope they do. I'm going to be watching 5:00 tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it'll be on FS1. That's what all the other games were, and this is the most high stakes game, so I would assume it's there too. But I'm not totally sure at the moment. Now, if we do qualify, which still is up in the air, I want to get into how the U.S. men's national team might approach this. Because this summer is packed when it comes to scheduling and games, or the summer all the way through the end of the year. You have the hexagonal in late in the fall. Yeah, the hexagonal, which is the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. You have the Final Four of the CONCACAF something going on. You have the Gold Cup, and then if you qualify, you have the Olympics. Before I get into the Olympics versus Gold Cup thing, I don't even know how we're going to get, a really good... I hope we do, because when it comes to... I'm getting ahead of myself. The Olympics is not started in a FIFA international window. With that said, clubs are able to retain their players, and it will come down to negotiations between the U.S. Soccer Federation and the clubs that, have certain players under contract with them. They're not obligated to release the players for camp, and therefore it turns into a negotiation. You can look at the Pizarro and Inter Miami situation last year, where Alonso and the Mexican Federation were going back and forth about who should get the player. I think that Inter Miami did the right thing in letting him go because Pizarro's trying to get on a World Cup roster. And those friendlies against, I believe, South Korea or Japan, whoever it was, those are important games for Pizarro, and he's in camp again, and that's good to see. We want to see him on that World Cup roster. So it's going to come down to negotiations. And what's good that we've heard from the players is that they want to go and play. And when I say, the players, I'm talking the Pulisics of the team. So the Olympics, you can only field players under 24. That's just rules for the men's game. I think the women's don't have an age restriction, but the men's do. And the under 24s, you get 3 players that are over that. I think you get 3 exceptions to the rule. But most of our best talents are under 23 to begin with. So there you go. All of our best players are under 23. And all of our best players are also playing in Europe for major clubs. Right? Can we stick out these negotiations and get them to leave outside of a FIFA international window to come play for us in the Olympics? I don't know. You have Serginho Dest, Josh Sargent. You have a Barcelona man, a Werder Bremen man. You have Giovanni Reina, who is a Dortmund man. You have Yunus Musa, who is a Valencia man. You have to look at Weston McKennie from Juve, Tyler Adams from Leipzig, Pulisic from Chelsea, Chris Richards in Hoffenheim, or maybe it'll be Bayern who you have to debate with. I'm not totally sure there. Mark McKenzie in Belgium, Daryl Dike for Barnsley, Timothy Weah for Lille, Conrad De La Fuente for Barca, and Brendan Aronson for Salzburg. Can you negotiate with all of those clubs to get our best U23s to go and try and win a gold medal? That's going to be tough, and I can't imagine we get everybody we want. But I know a lot of these guys have said, with quotes from press conferences, that they would love to play in the Olympics. Now, there's another problem at hand. The Gold Cup. The Olympics are due to be played between July 21st and August 7th. The Gold Cup, which is a major competition for us, is set to be played July 10th through August 1st. Unless I have my dates totally wrong, which I don't think that I do, but that's at least what I researched last night. There might be a scheduling conflict. How does that get tackled? The U.S. men's national team has a lot to figure out. And it all comes down to this Honduras game tomorrow night. These are really good problems to have, because if you qualify for the Olympics, that's a big deal. And you will take any of the problems that come with it. But these guys who are, like I said, all of our best players are under 23, need this big tournament experience. Whether it's the Gold Cup, whether it's the Olympics, you want your best players playing in these competitions to help improve them. You want them to be ready to play in big competitions in the primes of their career. And I'm talking 2022 and 2026. Those World Cup years. Let's have them primed and ready. Let's mold them into guys who are ready to play in major competitions. I mean, they already are. How many people did we have playing in the Champions League this year? 8 or 9? We've got Horvath, Steffen, Pulisic, Adams, McKennie, Reina. More that I'm forgetting, but those are guys that you want to have ready, and they need to be ready to play in these big competitions. Start them now. Start them while they're still able to play in these U23 tournaments, a.k.a. the Olympics. But it's all going to come down to the Inter Miami CF assistant manager, Jason Kreis, who is the head manager for the U23s. He needs to tackle this game correctly. He has gotten a lot of criticism for how he's handled the U23 teams and not putting on creative players. He's playing basically, in the first 2 games, it seemed like he just played 3 defensive midfielders, and we created nothing going forward. You need to get Jesus Ferreira the ball at the top of the box or inside the box and let him finish off his chances. A lot of stuff to figure out. A lot. And I hope we can do it tomorrow. Let's get over the hump and let's qualify for the Olympics and let these problems arise, because that is they are good problems to have given the circumstances. We want to be in the Gold Cup and we want to be in the Olympics. So let's do both. How about that? We're going to go to break here. When I come back, I'm going to be talking a lot of the international qualifiers that we've seen that are not just the United States. And I'm also going to talk about Erling Haaland. Don't want to miss it. Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports and when news breaks. Catch the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere. It's OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
If you missed Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report sponsored by EJDconstruction.com today, you missed this.
But before Tom Brady, they were a 7-9 team with a quarterback who set franchise records for passing, but he wasn't a good quarterback because he turned the ball over in too many instances.
Right.
Okay?
Fair.
They were a 7-9 team with all the talent that they had. They reminded me of the 2011 Dolphins, where it's just a great collection of talent, crappy engine.
Okay.
So you got a pimped out ride with rims and great sound system and a candy coated paint job on the outside.
That sounds like mine. Yes, I would agree.
You got leather. You redid the leather on the inside of the car, but you got a Hyundai engine.
Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report, brought to you by EJD Construction. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDconstruction.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy.
What's your name?
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Austin Robillard.
And we are back here on Red Card Radio at Onside Radio. It's a FIFA international window, and we're getting qualifiers in international games all over the world, and I absolutely love it. I just do. I love international football, and I did have quite an interesting week, so I did get to stay home and watch a lot of football because I couldn't see out of one eye. I'm better now, which is good. But I stayed home from work, and I got to watch some exciting stuff. And I'm mostly going to talk about the European qualifiers that I've been watching and keeping tabs on. And holy crap, I watched one of the best games ever. For some reason, well, not for some reason. I'll tell you why. Since about 2014, I think. 2014, 2013, depends on who you're asking. I have been, playing FIFA. And one of my favorite players that I have grown to really love is that I used to love playing with in the game. You can ask my buddies. I just use this guy at any opportunity that I could. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, the Turkish man who played for Leverkusen. He's now at Milan. He was banned from football for like 12 months or something because of a breach of contract or crazy stuff. But he is a quality footballer, and I have been following him very closely, and he has helped my love for, or my likeness, not my love, for AC Milan with the Rebićes and the Zlatans of the world. So I saw that Turkey was playing, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll tune in. And they're playing the Netherlands. I was like, okay, maybe that's a pretty exciting matchup. The thing is about Turkey, too, as a country, as a footballing country, they somehow always make World Cup qualifiers tough for European competition. They just always have a pretty quality roster, or quality enough to cause trouble. Seems like they do it every 4 years. And it won't be different this time around. This game was nuts. Turkey played the Netherlands on Tuesday, or Wednesday maybe, one or the other. I have my days all messed up. When you miss work for a week, you mess up all your days. I don't even know. I knew today was Saturday, of course, because I have a show. But throughout the week, I genuinely had no idea what day it was. But this game that took place this week was nuts. It ended 4-2 for Turkey, a win over the Netherlands, who fielded a very good team. A team that definitely needs to win games. They need to qualify. The hat trick from the veteran striker. I wanted to see, Yaziki, who's playing well for Leo Çalhanoğlu, and then this guy just comes in and steals the show. It was such a good game. And Netherlands were almost back into it. They got 2 goals late in the 75th and 77th minute back-to-back to make this game 3-2 really quickly. And I can't express to you, when this game was 3-2 and I saw De Jong score that second goal, I was like, holy crap, are the Netherlands going to do this? When I stress to you that this hat trick that this man scored, I think he's like 35 or something, Yilmaz. In the 81st minute, they get a free kick after a foul from, I think, Gini Wijnaldum at the top of the box. And this man just, yep, it's my day. This is my goal. I got it. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful free kick to make it 4-2. And then it gets better because towards the end of the game, I think it's one of the last plays of the game, actually, or the last play, then Netherlands are awarded a penalty. And of course, just because the game, needed to get more crazy, the Turkish keeper saved it. And, I mean, what a win. What a win. And Hakan Çalhanoğlu, by the way, scored a fantastic goal. Outside the box, as he does, all the way to the far side, on the ground, too. I mean, it's pretty good. And he's capable of those things. He's a really good playmaker, and I really like watching him play. He's got a really good game to him. But there have been a lot of games that have been good in these qualifiers, and today we actually have a good slate of games. Portugal is going to take on Serbia. That game is going to be interesting. Serbia are playing pretty well. Portugal, of course, I mean, they've got world-renowned talent everywhere on the field. You also have the Czech Republic, who had an outstanding win thanks to a Souček hat trick, the West Ham man. They won 6-2 in their last time out, and they're going to take on Belgium, who also had a really good win the other day. That'll be fun. And then you have Norway versus the team I was just talking about, Turkey. And I won't talk about Turkey anymore, but I will talk about Norway, and I'm going to talk about Erling Haaland. I thought Erling Haaland would have scored 9 goals against Gibraltar. I really did. He didn't score any. He was actually subbed off early. Not early. I mean, he didn't go the full 90. And I think this is a game where he needs to pick it up. I know Turkey are a good side, but I want to see a Haaland goal. I mean, how can you not want to see a Haaland goal? Speaking of Haaland, I said I was going to get into him. He's going to be leaving Dortmund. And for his own sake, he should be leaving Dortmund at some point in his career. He's not staying at Dortmund forever. He's got to go, better his career, win trophies. But where is he going to do it? I was on Instagram this morning, specifically looking at the BR Football account here, and they posted some odds to sign Haaland. Who has the best odds to sign Erling Haaland? Out of the 6 teams they posted, the one with the least odds was Bayern Munich at plus 2,000. I think that's a lot better than the team above them, Barcelona at plus 1,600. Barcelona are not signing Haaland. They don't have the money to do that. It's not happening. Bayern is a better bet there. And I'm not a crazy betting man, but I will tell you that Bayern at plus 2,000 is a better bet than Barca at plus 16. And then right above them was my very own Manchester United at plus 1,000. But I honestly don't think we have the funds to do that either. Unless somehow they can get Haaland to wait till his contract expires and bring him in on a free. That's the only way it'll probably happen. And I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility because of the Norwegian connection between Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Erling. I think he played for Ole at Molde in Norway. So there's something there. I don't know if it'll happen. It probably won't. But I can't imagine a front three of Marcus Rashford, Erling Haaland, and Greenwood if he can come into his own. Oh, with Bruno in behind. Oh, I would be so happy. And then you have Madrid at plus 600, which I think is a pretty good bet. You have Chelsea at plus 400, and then Manchester City at plus 150. So the City Haaland thing has got steam to it. It does. And I would hate to see that, but I think he would really tear it up under Pep Guardiola and that team. Can you imagine Kevin De Bruyne giving Erling Haaland service? Oh, no. With the wingers that they have, he would just find it so easy. Not easy because it's the Premier League, but I think he would have a really good time in a Manchester City side. I saw, too, that if Chelsea are not able to... Chelsea are pushing hard to sign Haaland, and if they're not able to land him, they're going to turn their eyes over to Romelu Lukaku of Inter Milan. Now, I don't know what Alex Stano thinks of that, because I saw Alex Stano post today, hey, a video of his very adorable son saying that he is Romelu Lukaku, and he kicked the ball down his hallway in his house. It was great. So I wonder what Alex Sano's little guy would think about that. Lukaku going over to Chelsea, back in the Premier League. He was so good for Everton. Moves to United, falls off a little bit, but he did score 2 goals in Paris, so thankfully that is his greatest contribution to me as a football fan. But Chelsea are looking to sign a striker, and what does that say about Timo Werner? It says a lot, in my opinion. Haaland's best fit would be at Manchester City, 100%. He just has to, and he does have to leave Dortmund. There's nothing else I can say about that. He needs to win trophies. He's a striker that needs to be on a trophy-winning side. It won't be with Norway, I'll tell you that. They are not good enough for that. But on a club level, I mean, he can have an impact that, say, a Robert Lewandowski has. He is that good. He is a top world striker at a very young age, and he will continue to dominate world football alongside Kylian Mbappe for years to come. Those two are going to be at the top of the list. They're not going to be Ronaldo and Messi. Don't start that. But Mbappe and Haaland could be really good for a really long time. And I want to see Haaland better his career at a better club. You know, if you ask Kai-Chin Chisholm, my friend we have on, he goes every single weekday from 10 to noon, does not like Borussia Dortmund. That's okay, because he's a big Bayern fan, but he will tell you everything you need to know about this. He's a big Bundesliga guy. For the betterment of Erling Haaland's career, he needs to move on. Do I hope it's Manchester United? Absolutely. But I don't think that's his best fit. I think his best fit is Manchester City. I could see him in a Chelsea side. I could see him in a Madrid side, but he would thrive, I think, under Pep Guardiola in Manchester City. So, that's where I want him to go, but he'd be good there. Weeknights, 6 to 7 p.m., catch Game Night with Michael Christian. Listen to the show that provides you the smorgasbord gamers love and sports fans desire. From breaking sports news to the latest in the gaming culture, catch Game Night with Michael Christian from 6 to 7 p.m. exclusively at OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take OnSide Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnSideRadio.com.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture, or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
A message to help keep you safe. If doctors told us today that we'd made a breakthrough on COVID-19, saving thousands of lives, we would rejoice. Finally, a good news day. We'd feel less afraid that our loved ones would be struck by the invisible enemy. We'd start to feel hope that we could live our lives again. Well, a mask does all that. We can help protect others by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Masks are a ticket to freedom, to be out in the world, to getting together, back to work, back to doing what we want. If doctors announced we could save lives today, we would grab that breakthrough with both hands. While we wait for a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Listen to OnSideRadio.com anywhere by downloading the MyTuner Radio app in your app store. Or go to MyTunerRadio.com on your web browser. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida sports leader.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans. Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
These are unprecedented times. Challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
And the top trait they're looking for in a partner is someone that can cook better than them.
Wow.
Yeah. How are you at cooking?
I'm okay. I cook all my stuff.
What's your best dish? If I had to say, Marsh, this you're gonna eat in tonight with a girl. All right.
Well, if I'm cooking for a girl, then I'm not cooking.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10. Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, send a text. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, we are wrapping up the first hour here. We're getting ready to go into the 12 o'clock hour where I will talk a ton of Inter Miami. Yes, that's right, a full hour of Inter Miami. Because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Season's right around the corner. And also some news from the governor about the vaccinations in Florida, which could open this stadium up to at least 50% at some point this year. Could be crazy. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I saw a graphic posted. It's one of those graphics where they do this a lot in basketball, I think. They give you options of players at a certain price point, and they tell you that you have a certain salary to spend. What would be your lineup? So this graphic was build your back four with $10. So you have to pick 4 players for $10 or less. Now, back four would consist of a left back, 2 center backs, and a right back, and here are all the options. For $3, you can have any of Jordi Alba, Alphonso Davies, Virgil van Dijk, Sergio Ramos, or João Cancelo. For $2, which I don't know how Cancelo is over some of the players in this next list, but for $2, you can have Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ruben Diaz, Kalidou Koulibaly, Andrew Robertson, and Achraf Hakimi. And for $1, Matthias de Ligt, Marquinhos, Serginho Dest, Reguilon, and Luke Shaw. My initial back four was to have a center back pairing of Van Dijk and Ramos for $6. Then I would have Andy Robertson on the left. That would take me to $8. And honestly, with the way Trent has performed this season, I would skip over having him as my right back and have Serginho Dest for $1, saving me some money. That put me at, what, $9 instead of $10? That's what I had originally. But then I thought about, and actually someone that was the last person on this list who I kind of skipped over the first time reading this was Luke Shaw. This season specifically, just this season, Luke Shaw has been probably the best left back in the Premier League. And I know I say that as a Manchester United fan, and it could sound pretty biased. But he's putting 8 out of 10 performances in every single week as a defender. He's having a fantastic season. He's dealt with so much in his career, coming over from Southampton, injuries, the criticism from fans, he's having a phenomenal year. I'm very happy for him, and he's having a better year than Andy Robertson. So therefore, my back line would be, for this season, I know Van Dijk is injured, but if he wasn't, obviously he'd be one of the best center backs in the world. I would have Luke Shaw, Virgil van Dijk, Sergio Ramos, and Serginho Dest. The other right back options, I mean, you can look at Hakimi, but I see him, I mean, I guess him and Dest are one and the same, where they can move up the field a lot if they wanted to. But I am going to admit that my U.S. men's national team bias is getting to me and say that I would like Serginho Dest, just as the way he's played in the last couple weeks. He's been phenomenal. Marquinhos and De Ligt, very, very underrated defenders, I think. Ruben Diaz is very good. I know this, but it's because he's younger. He's probably $2. But De Ligt and Marquinhos, I mean, PSG have a good partnership at the back with Marquinhos and Kimpembe. For $1, that's a pretty solid option. But I think you can't really pass up having Van Dijk and Ramos only taking up 60% of your budget at 50% of your roster. It's good. And this is obviously all hypothetical, and I'm probably just thinking too much into it. But I love doing these kinds of things. The NBA, I see them all the time. So much. It could be, ex-players. It could be all-time players. It could be current players. Whatever. You build a starting five with whatever. It's cool to see that I've seen somebody do it with soccer, so I decided to bring it on the show. I might tweet out the graphic and tag the creator, because I thought it was really good. And I want to see what everybody else thinks. Actually, if you want, you can text the show at 844-416-8123 and give me your thoughts. And I'll go through them. So for $3, you have Alba, Davies, Van Dijk, Ramos, and Cancelo. For $2, you have Trent, Ruben Diaz, Kalidou Koulibaly, Robertson, or Hakimi. And for $1, you have De Ligt, Marquinhos, Dest, Reguilon, or Luke Shaw. You get a $10 budget for 4 players. You got to build a back line. Let me get your thoughts. 844-416-8123. And remember, you're texting the one and only locally owned sports station in South Florida. That's right. It's OnSideRadio.com.
Robillard. Take OnSide Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnSideRadio.com.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
If you missed Man of the Match with Alex Dano, you missed.
And this happens in a lot of food polls, right? When I put out a food discussion and I claim that one thing is better than the other, the people who are the fans of the thing that I don't like as much will always say, oh, you've never had my abuelita's tres leches. Well, no crap. I don't know your grandma. She's never invited me. I hate that argument. It's like, oh, wait, you think tiramisu is better? You've never had my abuelita's homemade tres leches. Well, until she invites me over, bro, how am I supposed to try? You've clearly never been to Florence where they have great tiramisu, so don't give me your crap. You've never had my nonna's tiramisu.
Yeah, I haven't.
And you'll never have it. She's dead.
Oh, God.
You'll never have it.
I really wanted to.
You're SOL. She didn't save the recipe. It died with her.
Oh, no.
Man of the Match with Alex Dano on South Florida's home for sports talk, OnSideRadio.com.
Riddle me this. With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new Papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new Papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
Hey everybody, it's Good Greek Moving and Storage, and for over 2 decades, they've been entrusted to handle all of your moving and storage needs. And now, Good Greek is the official mover of Inter Miami CF. And if Inter Miami trusts the Good Greek, you should too. For the best move ever, whether it's across town or across the country, go to GreekMoving.com. That's GreekMoving.com for Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of your Inter Miami CF.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, and we're back here at the home for Inter Miami CF, our beloved MLS franchise. Thanks to David Beckham and Jorge Mas and the others, including the fans of South Florida. I mean, they do a fantastic job supporting this club, and I'm so happy to be a part of it, here to be here, happy to be here every Saturday, and hopefully Saturdays and Wednesdays and Fridays and Sundays to come, because MLS released the schedule for the season. Yes, it is a little late. We play in less than a month. Our first ever game, or not first ever game, sorry. I feel like it's our inaugural season. I feel like we're having a do-over to our first year, but MLS released the schedule. We play, as we know, we got a couple of the home openers, and 3 games were announced. One against Philly, one against Cincinnati in May, and then I think we had the home opener, which is going to be April 18th against the Galaxy. The game that we should have had last year as our home opener, but that was obviously pushed back to this year because of the coronavirus pandemic, just a couple days before. So we're getting a redo there. April 18th will be that day, and the entire schedule came out. So we didn't just have the home openers, we have everything. I'm going to go over just some of the stuff we have, I wanted to highlight. At the moment, we have 11 games on national television. That's up there for the most in MLS. Obviously, Inter Miami is a huge market. Miami, South Florida, MLS wants to market it. They want to put us on TV, and not that we deserve it after our performances last year, but it's marketable. Very, very marketable. We have also 9 games in the midweek, so there will be times where we'll be playing twice in a week, actually 9 of those times, and it could put a lot on players, especially with, a bunch of international competition coming up. Pizarro may not be there for some. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that stuff. And then also, we have some in-state matches that are away, technically away games. Now, we know Orlando would be a couple of those because Orlando is in Florida, I should say. But in South Florida, we have Montreal, who's going to be using our facilities throughout the season. So our away match against Montreal is set for Saturday, July 3rd. But it's going to be played here at Lockhart. So that's actually really good for Inter Miami. Considering the fact that, all of the fans that will be in the stands will likely be Miami fans and not really traveling fans from Canada, that's pretty good to have, I would say. I like that a lot. We also play Montreal on May 12th, and that's technically one of our home games. So there's that. Then you have to look at Toronto, because Toronto, I believe, is using facilities in Tampa, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I know that it is in Florida. And Toronto is using facilities in Florida, much like the Raptors are. Maybe I got those confused. I'm not totally sure where Toronto's playing, but I know the Raptors are taking their trainings and home games in Tampa. So, as is now Toronto FC. September 14th is an away game, but it'll be somewhere in Florida. So that's cool for Inter Miami. We have a couple of those. So we have a Montreal game, we have an Orlando game, we have 2 Orlando games, and a Toronto game. Now, I will say this. Inter Miami fans travel very, very, very well. Those Orlando games might not feel like away games other than the stadium you're playing in. I know a lot of these guys from down here, they love this club. They will be in Orlando. Trust me. Especially after last year's incidents and the craziness. The rivalry has already peaked. August 4th and August 27th, mark it, because they will be there. Sucks that it has to be a Wednesday and a Friday, by the way, for those 2 games. But it is what it is. The Toronto game to come, in Montreal earlier on in the season, July 3rd. So in-state away matches. Doesn't happen in a lot of places, in a lot of sports. Actually, the other Florida derby, which is the Orlando versus Miami match, there's 3 games. One of them is going to be at Lockhart. 2 are going to be in Orlando. 2 are on a Friday and 1's on a Wednesday. That is not ideal. I think MLS should have done better there and given us a Saturday game for that, especially the one during rivalry week. That's not... I think that's poor scheduling, if you ask me. But it is what it is. It doesn't matter. The fans are going to show out nonetheless. It doesn't matter what day it is. It does not matter what day it is. They'll be there. It's still going to be a hyped-up matchup, and can't wait. Cannot wait. Another cool thing here, too, to note, thanks to Ian Hest on Twitter. We had Ian on the show a couple weeks ago. Fantastic, knowledgeable guy. Gets into the deeper meaning of things analytically. He finds the fun, quirky stats that are important. Does a great job. Really good guy to know and follow, especially on Twitter, at Ian Hest. This is where I'm getting a lot of this information from. But MLS decided to keep this season as regional as possible. I know we have a Portland away game, which is interesting. But a lot of these games are in conference and close to the region in the regular season. With that said, the traveling won't be as bad as you would think of in a normal sports season in North America, because it's just a massive country. A lot of soccer, leagues around the world, you don't have to think about traveling as much because flights don't take longer than 2 hours. I mean, they just don't. Here, you can have a 7-hour flight to L.A. Is that how long it is? Probably about 6, I would say. 6 hours to L.A. or whatever it is. Traveling can be tough, and it's not a normal thing in soccer. But with that said, the regional scheduling allows for 9 of the 34 games are north of D.C. or west of Nashville. So 25 games we have inside this region of Nashville and D.C. down to South Florida. So you can think of that little triangle geographically there if you want. That's pretty good given the circumstances. And, playing in a league here in America could be tough, the traveling and everything, but due to the COVID and, just due to the safety of the players and trying to keep the game as safe as possible, to have all the games go on as good as possible, they kept it regional. Therefore, only 25 of our games, or only 9 of our games, are outside of that little D.C., Nashville, South Florida triangle, which I think is amazing. I think that's a huge, huge advantage for Inter Miami. I'm not sure about other clubs. I'm sure there will be clubs that have to travel less. There will be some clubs that have to travel more. But I'm not really looking at that. From an Inter Miami standpoint, you have to like that. I think that's something really, really, really good. And then, also, with this schedule, I'm going to get into this later here in the next segment, but we have a really big name coming on July 1st. And usually the season starts a little bit before July 1st, or before April 18th, sorry. And mid-season signings miss out on a lot more games than this specific signing will. And it's good to see that he will be here for at least a third of the season. That is not, usually the summer is a midway point for MLS. This is kind of a third of the way point. July 1st will be when this guy comes. So that is cool. That is very good, and we should be happy with that. It's never an ideal circumstance for a mid-season signing, but that's just the way MLS operates because of the weather in North America and having to play through the summer. Because if you play through the winter here, a lot of cancellations due to snow. We don't have to worry about that here in South Florida, but if you were to be playing games with the Revolution or Portland or Montreal, Toronto, I can't imagine how many games would get canceled in the wintertime. But it is what it is. We play in the summer. We have to deal with those things. But luckily this year, this midseason signing really will only miss about a third of the season. And he'll be able to play in the back third when he arrives. So that's good stuff. And today, actually, March 27th, Miami should be headed up north to Tampa, or in that area. I think Sarasota is where they're going to be playing, to play the Rowdies in a friendly. We played them last year in a friendly, so that's good. The roster, it's not full right now. We don't have a full training camp with players out on international duty. We have somebody playing for Suriname, who I haven't really said yet because I'm going to get into that in the next segment. Jovan Jones for Trinidad, Pizarro for Mexico, and I don't know if Azcona is back yet after his time with the Dominican Republic. They finished their group stage games. Unfortunately, didn't qualify for the semifinals in the Olympics, but he balled out, Edison Azcona did. Let me tell you, Inter Miami have a star in the making. I am very excited. I would rank him as our best prospect from the academy this season. Unfortunately, we'll be missing Ian Frey. I think Felipe Valencia has a lot to offer as well, but he's a lot younger than Azcona, and Azcona has been playing in some big games. So I'm excited to see if Azcona will get playtime this year, and if he does, what he can do with it. Could be cool, and I want to see him play in these preseason games. Why not? You also have the Charleston Battery game on the 30th, and we have Red Bulls and Nashville SC in preseason. So about 4 more games, maybe 5. We have another one to be determined. The Miami FC game last week got canceled. I don't think they'll be playing because of some COVID incident that happened, unfortunately. But, hey, let's get these guys going. I can't wait till April 18th. Trust me, cannot wait. Saturdays at 8 a.m., baseball fans can go deep into the count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase. Catch a show that talks Marlins and all the big stories in the major leagues. Every Saturday at 8 a.m., Seam Heads have a new home. Listen to Deep Into the Count exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Toast.
Congratulations to Sony and talent agency Endeavor as they have finalized their purchase of the Evolution Championship Series. EVO, as it is known, is one of the longest-running esports tournaments and focuses on fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Many fans were concerned about the sale to Sony, fearing that future tournaments like this year's would become PlayStation exclusive. That has been debunked as they announced that tournaments will remain open to all platforms. After being canceled last year due to COVID-19, EVO 2021 will be held virtually this August. Happy gaming.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E-Report. The card is out. The show is on. Soccer fans. Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard is on. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Lining up for that pressure kick, here's your host, Austin Robillard, with Red Card Radio.
All right, and we're back here, Red Card Radio. I love, just absolutely love listening to the Champions League music. Can't wait till that comes back. Well, it's not like we're missing anything because we get the international football, but we're also getting ready to get the club football, and I just finished up talking about Inter Miami's schedule.
Austin.
Yes.
Is that what your song is, the intro?
Yeah, it's the intro. It's the Champions League anthem.
Is that what that is?
Isn't it beautiful?
It's different.
It's
different.
I have to play you the full song because
I have to listen to it. I'll have to listen to it. You're not the first person who spoke about it.
They have these like opera voices in the background, and the players actually walk out to it before they play a game.
Really?
It's like one of the like for some reason in soccer, it's just one of the phenomenal. Like
our guys come out to this song right here.
They come out. Everybody loves it, man.
Really?
It's just
no, I'm not downing it. I'm not
I know.
talking down it. I'm just. It's different. I haven't heard the whole song, and I heard you say there was a intro or something for.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It's something in the world of football that everybody loves. It's something everybody can get behind. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. We'll play it after. Well, I'll show you.
Oh, definitely. Just text me the full name, man.
Yeah, I will. You're gonna hear these high-pitched opera voices in the background, and literally what these players walk.
Give you
out
goosebumps, huh?
Oh yeah, and the big games. Oh yeah, they don't play national anthems over in Europe, so this is what they go out.
This is what they go after, huh?
It's nuts, man.
I'm learning little by little.
I got you, Abel. I got you.
Appreciate it.
All right, so here in South Florida, where they actually do play the national anthems before games, Inter Miami made two major signings this week. Major signings. We know about the Jovan Jones thing, and for weeks and weeks and weeks, dating back to last season, we talked so much about how the defense was the problem. The wing-back depth, the center-back depth was an issue. To say that this front office tried to do everything they could this offseason to fix that would be an understatement. Because really, they did. They fixed it. We haven't seen it on the field yet, but on paper, it looks fixed. Especially with these two new signings. Kelvin Leerdam, ex-Seattle man, played in the Netherlands First Division for a while. Won a trophy over there, actually. Maybe a couple. He won a trophy with Seattle Sounders in the 18-19 season. As a right back under Chris Henderson, the sporting director who was there and is now here, is joining Inter Miami after a trade. A trade that, by the way, speaking of trades, it's not going to get as much love as Chris Greer and Pat Riley in the last couple of days after trading for Oladipo. And basically, I think the Dolphins, if we really look at everything, I'm not a crazy football and basketball guy. As you know, I speak for 2 hours on soccer, but the Dolphins moved down 3 picks on the draft board, and they gained an additional first-round pick and an additional third-round pick just to do that after 2 trades with the Niners and the Eagles. That is great work. And then Pat Riley going on and getting Victor Oladipo for Kelly Olynyk and who was it? Kelly Olynyk and someone else that I don't even remember. Nonetheless, it was a great deal. And a draft swap, of course. But still, great deal. And then when I look at Chris Henderson in this front office, I say Kelvin Leerdam for just $75,000 in general allocation money spread over 2 years, which, when you look at the GAM and the new CBA, goes up tremendously over the years. It's almost relatively nothing. So thank you, Chris Henderson. Thank you, Inter Miami front office. You have just brought a starting caliber right back to a roster that didn't really have one for essentially nothing, and he's only 29. So there you go. a proven MLS winner. He's going to give you starting quality minutes. I'm going to get into everything about these two signings in a minute here. But it's a great deal. And then, a man I talked so much about in the last couple of weeks is Kieran Gibbs. He was announced officially by Inter Miami as he has signed a pre-contract agreement to join in July. That's the man I was talking about last segment. He will be joining after our first 11 games here. Kieran Gibbs is an Inter Miami CF player in July. He's still with West Brom. He's under contract until July 1st. And this is what I had been saying on the show. I was discrediting reports that were saying we would get Kieran Gibbs in the offseason because it didn't make sense. And I felt like I was right to discredit those, and now it looks like I am right to discredit those because it just didn't make sense. It never made sense. Why in the world is Gibbs going to give up this lucrative contract that he has right now with West Bromwich Albion to sit on the bench and do nothing, to come over to South Florida to take significantly less money? There was no reason for him to do that. And if he did, the only way it would happen was through a buyout. And I don't think that West Brom or Inter Miami really needed to spend money on a buyout to get Kieran Gibbs to come to South Florida. Especially considering what I mentioned in the last segment. He's only going to be missing the first 11 games. If he comes in ready to play, of course, he might miss a couple more. But essentially, he's only missing a third of the season. And yes, that could be a lot, but the second third and the third third are very important stretches, and that's where you really need to start winning games. And you're still finding yourself in the first third of a schedule. Like let's look at the Miami Heat. Had a really bad loss to Charlotte last night, but they picked it up, and I guess we're about the halfway point. I'm not totally sure, but the first part of the season, it was like, I thought we were in the finals last year. What happened? And now it looks a lot better. They're 5th or 6th in the East. They're probably going to fight for 4th. They've made a great trade. Same thing goes in a lot of sports. You find yourself in the first part of the season, and then you have to wrap up the consistencies if you're a playoff team in the second third and the third third of the season. And I think Kieran Gibbs will come here and solidify that. He's still a quality player. West Brom fans are not very fond of him because of the money he's taking up and the limited play time he's getting, because he just doesn't seem really to care too much about the club. It is what it is. What are you going to do? Also, I hope that when he does come here, he can avoid the injuries. He's had a couple of injury concerns over the last couple of years. And MLS, as we know, is a very physical league. So that is something to monitor. Now, let's go back to the Gibbs situation. To get him on a free transfer is massive. To get a guy of international stature on a free transfer like we did with Matuidi and Higuain is massive. Didn't have to spend money on a buyout. You do have to pay the penalty there by waiting a couple months. But it is what it is. There was no reason for Gibbs to leave. I discredited those reports because it just didn't make sense. And then I did say that if he is to join, it will be in the summer when his contract is over. Now, did I think that was likely? No. I did not think at all that Kieran Gibbs coming to Inter Miami was... I honestly didn't think it was going to happen. And I really didn't think it was going to happen after the Jovan Jones signing, because you signed another starting quality left back from Seattle who, yes, granted, can do a lot more than just play left back. But that it seemed like that was that's your guy. That seemed like that would be it. Now, it's not, because Kieran Gibbs is coming. So shout out to the front office. I don't know how the money is going to go either. Leardom will stay under whatever his MLS contract is now, because it was a trade. They might have to restructure. I'm not sure. And as for Gibbs, having no transfer fee is good, but he's definitely not going to be a DP, because you're going to have Matuidi, Higuain, and Pizarro taking up those spots. Okay? The TAM money is going to Figal, Shawcross, Gregore, not Matuidi, sorry. Who am I forgetting? LGP. It seemed like there's a lot of people taking up TAM money. So how are we going to pay Gibbs? Is he really going to take a salary less than $600 and whatever $1,000? Did Chris Henderson pull that off? I'm not sure. I know it is a 2.5 year or 3 year deal. So, man, I don't know what's going to happen with the money situation. But coming up in the next segment, I'm going to be talking about how I think this defense will line up. Not just the wing backs, but the center backs as well, because these two signings did a lot. So that's how I'm going to round out the hour here on Red Card Radio, on Onside Radio. And remember, tomorrow, or every Sunday, OnsideRadio.com continues to provide you the kind of sports talk that South Florida fans desire. Every single Sunday at 7 a.m., tune into the Sunday Sports Drop with Jazz Santana. Catch Jazz every week as he takes your calls and discusses the biggest stories in sports. That is the Sunday Sports Drop, 7 to 9 a.m. exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, send a text. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, and we are back here. Inter Miami CF Stadium. I just went over our 2 new defensive signings. I got my headset wrapped up here. Just went over our 2 new defensive signings and, basically how we got them and the money and all that kind of fun stuff. But I didn't get into exactly how they'll fit. and how they'll fit into this team and what I expect Phil Neville to do. Speaking of Phil Neville, by the way, signing Kieran Gibbs and Ryan Shawcross would not have happened if Diego Alonso was still the manager. I'm giving Neville and Beckham the credit there for bringing over those English guys. And, I mean, actually, I got to give credit to Chris Henderson, too, for bringing in Jovan Jones, Kelvin Leerdam, and even Grigore. 2 ex-Seattle guys, and then also Grigore, he's been, going after for a really long time. And now he's with them at Inter Miami. Beautiful, beautiful stuff by the front office. I love it. So here's a little bit, I talk about me every now and then, but I write also I'm a part of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I write for them. I do a bunch of Inter Miami coverage on my Twitter or on their website. And I wrote an article that came out a couple days ago about, Inter Miami's defensive plans. And I'm projecting how they would line up this season and why they would line up that way. And I wrote about 2,000 words on it just because I love it. I love writing. That's where I really started my journalistic career. I know I'm on the radio now, but I went back to my roots. And throughout the season, you'll see pre- and post-game pieces from me. I'll be here at Onside Radio to talk about games as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But I wrote this piece, and I talked about everything. And it came kind of like, doing the research and getting into the nitty-gritty of things. I've got a real good understanding of how I think Neville will approach this with all these new guys. So when I look at the back line, on the left side, for a while, all we knew was Brek Shea and Patrick Segrist. And oh boy, I thought we were in trouble. On the right side, all I really saw was Dylan Nealis and maybe Nico Figal. And oh boy, did I think we were in trouble. And then without Shawcross, it was really just the only 2 people I was confident in was LGP and Figal, which is a great pairing, but there was nobody in behind them. And then Shawcross came. So the defense is looking a lot better after the Jovan Jones, Ryan Shawcross, Kelvin Leerdam, and Kieran Gibbs signings. One of our absolute weakest points last year was defense, and it was definitely the left back and the right back position. Mostly the left back, I would say. I wasn't a big fan of Ben Sweat. Okay? Him going forward was good at some points. There was a point of the season where he just was magnificent as an attacker for some reason. I don't know what it was, but he was allowed to get up and down the line, and he did a great job at it. But defensively, couldn't stand him. Okay? Same goes for Mikey Ambrose, his backup. I couldn't do it. Defensively, it wasn't good. Now, as for Mikey Ambrose, he did basically get us into the playoffs, scoring a stunner in the FC Cincinnati game here. That was in the midst of a hurricane. That was crazy. I remember being here for that game. It was just nuts. But those 2 guys defensively weren't very serviceable, and now you trade for Patrick Segrist, a young MLS guy who has potential. You sign Jovan Jones as a free agent, and you sign Kieran Gibbs as who will be a free agent. That is a massive, massive upgrade. Sweat and Ambrose are off to Austin FC in Atlanta, which is, happy for them. They found another stint at another club. But Miami is going to be better off. Now, to start the season on the left side, I'm pretty confident Jovan Jones will be there on day 1 as a left back. Neville is going to play at the 4 at the back. I know this because of, just following Phil Neville and what he's done. I don't think he's going to shy away from what he's done. He says he has a non-negotiable style of football that has to do as well with the formation, so 4 at the back is how I'm going to project this. I'm pretty confident in that. I could be wrong, and I will eat my words if I am. But I'm confident in it. And I think that you'll see Jovan Jones as a traditional left back to start the season. At least for the first 11 games. Until July 1st, if Kieran Gibbs comes in fully healthy, ready to contribute, fits the team, and is in good shape, no reason he's not the left back. And he takes over Jovan Jones' spot. So what happens then? What does Jovan Jones, what does his role end up being? It seems pretty harsh just to sub him off after 11 games, especially if he plays well. But you have to play Gibbs. Luckily, I think that these two signings were thought about very strategically, and they were calculated. Chris Henderson knows Jovan Jones very well. He's won 2 titles with the guy. And I'm sure he's followed his career very closely, and he knows, just as much as I do, that Jovan Jones is more than just a left back. Jovan Jones has the ability to play as a winger on either side, a left midfielder, or a left back, as we're talking about. So if Kieran Gibbs comes in ready to contribute, Jovan Jones is going to be used as something I like to call a utility man. I don't know if it'll be starting. I don't know if it'll be off the bench. But if you look at, let's say, I'm trying to think of a good good comparison. But I got one. Brek Shea, last season. Can I tell you what Brek Shea's position was last year? No. It was a left winger, a left back, a left wing back, all over. He didn't always start. He came off the bench a lot. I expect the same from Jovan Jones. If Kieran Gibbs comes in and, can contribute. These are all, there's a lot of variables at play. And I probably won't have this down to the nail because something is going to happen that's going to throw everything off just because that's MLS. But this is how I'm seeing it at the moment. So that's for the left side. As for the right side, I know I talked a lot about Nico Figal potentially playing right back. Well, I'm going to throw that out the window now fully after first the Miami Herald's article, after getting some quotes from Phil Neville talking about how Figal, Neville has said that Figal is a true defenseman, an old style, defender who loves to defend. Basically tells me he doesn't want him on the ball. He wants him as a center back and playing defense. Fine. I think that Figal's aggressive style will not translate just to him being a true center back, but that is what could happen. He's going to play center back, and he won't be a right back, especially now after the Calvin Leerdam signing. Leerdam coming in gives you a true quality starter for hopefully 34 games. Dylan Nealis as a backup, great option. Patrick Segas as a backup, great option. But we have to remember, these guys were only drafted last season, and in MLS, quality doesn't really turn like that after the draft, unless your name is Daryl Dike. Doesn't really happen like that. So give these guys time to develop. They're both unproven. They need to mold into MLS players. Let some true quality players, a la Kelvin Leerdam, Jovan Jones, and Kieran Gibbs, start in front of them, show them the way, and in a couple years, I think that Dylan Nealis and Seagrass may be serviceable. But you have to build. You have to have depth. We didn't have that last year. I think it looks better this year. So no Nico Figal at right back. It'll be Leerdam. It'll be Nealis. Those are your two guys you swap in and out if you need to. And I'm good with that. It is so much better than last season. So much better. The right back option last year was Alvis Powell to start. Had a terrible game in LA. I mean, terrible. Against LAFC. Was there. It was cold, actually. But it was not a good performance. And he didn't see the field after that performance for a very, very long time. And I think rightfully so. Hopefully he finds, a better home where he can, find better form for himself and his career. But he wasn't ready to be an Inter Miami CF player. And when he was, it was that first game in LA, and he didn't show out. And then he comes in very late into the season as a third center back for some reason in the Nashville playoff game. And it was awful. It was just awful. So we're at a major upgrade point now where Nealis had a pretty good season last season, by the way, at right back. He had a pretty good year. And I thought that he would be one of the highly touted prospects in this draft, or in last year's draft. because he was a club captain for Georgetown, the Hoyas, who won the national championship. He was their best player, a leader at a right back position. I think Phil Neville being here too is really going to help Dylan Nealis mold into something pretty good. But for now, let's play Leardom. I'm high on Nealis as a prospect. I thought he could maybe even start last season right away. That's how much I believed in him in his collegiate career. But it wasn't, not fully there. Okay? Not yet, but it can be. You let Leardom take that spot and run away with it. Now, as for the center backs, like I said, Figal is center back option only. Okay? Unless something crazy happens, Figal won't be playing right back. The center back depth as it stands. LGP is number 1. Figal is number 2. Shawcross is number 3. Then you have Makoun and Mabika. I think Ryan Shawcross is the number 3 option for center back on this roster. Unless, I don't think he's even here yet in camp, but unless he does come to camp and shows out before April 18th, there's no way Phil Neville plays him over Figal and LGP. LGP is the best player one of the best players on this roster, was the most serviceable last year, one of the most serviceable last year when he came in, other than Lewis Morgan, and you cannot take that away from him. I've had talks with some people. I think he might be named club captain. I think there's potential there. But for me, LGP is a guy that you play every single game if he's healthy. And I think, honestly, same with Figal. I think you keep that partnership intact for as long as possible. Now, we know how both those guys play. They're very aggressive, right? They're going to get yellow cards. I mean, they love to get stuck in. There might be a suspension here and there, but that's why you bring in a guy like Ryan Shawcross. To have a quality center back to back up if something is to happen. Or if Figal has to move out wide, you can bring in Shawcross. But I don't think Shawcross, as much as Stoke fans will want me to hear it, is the number 1 center back or number 2 center back option on this roster. You play Figal and you play LGP. You keep that partnership intact. Shawcross is number 3. Mabika still hasn't signed a first-team contract. Makoun is here. Quinteros is loaned out. And then we had Ian Frey, who went down with a pretty tough injury. So that's how I think the defense could look this season. If you want to check out the article, it's on 5regionsports.com. I'll be writing many more to come in the coming weeks. Keep up with me at Austin Robillard on Twitter. We're going to round out our show here in just a couple minutes. My man David Dwork is here every single Saturday right before me from 10 to 11 a.m. And every Florida Panthers fan has a place to call home every Saturday morning. It's the Cats insider David Dwork, who hosts Chirping the Cats Radio every Saturday, 10 a.m. Onside Radio is committed to all sports, and Panthers fans can now connect every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. with David Dwork on the home for Panthers fans worldwide. It's OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
If you missed Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report sponsored by EJDconstruction.com today, you missed this.
You don't expect.
I'm not an Etienne fan, but I'm selecting Najee Harris in the first. I think when we're all said and done, and the real evaluators start to pick this draft apart and start to really look at talent, Najee Harris doesn't have any flaws, bro.
No. You have to take him at 18. But he's not going to be there at 35. You got to take him at 18.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. No question. To me, if I'm trading for Deshaun Watson, I'm making sure. I'm like, you can have whatever you want, Houston, but you can't have my 18th pick because I want to use that pick on Najee Harris, and hopefully he's there for Miami. But that's a horse, bro. That's a horse. That's a man's running back, and that's what I'm attracted to.
Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report, brought to you by EJD Construction. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDconstruction.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Austin Robillard.
Out here, the second hour, the last hour of our show, Red Card Radio, that airs every Saturday from 11 to 1. We talk all things soccer, whether it be international stuff, European stuff, U.S. men's national team, Inter Miami. I keep the focus there because we are a South Florida sports station. We have a home club in MLS. So we always talk Inter Miami. We always talk U.S. men's national team. But when it comes to the big-time club things, I'll be all over it too. Don't worry. And if you've been listening for the last couple of weeks, I have been. And now I'm on to the qualifiers. I mean, we talked some European qualifiers. I mean, we have a lot of fun here on the show, and it's great. No crosstalk today. We're ending the Onside Radio Saturday show, or Saturday, I guess, day at 1 o'clock. But I do have Abel in studio. And last week, I know Abel talked to me, or when I was mentioning basketball, he wasn't too happy with it because of Ohio State.
Yeah.
We got Sweet 16 coming up today at like 2:30.
Yeah.
Anything you're looking out for with this
Michigan
NCAA tournament?
Michigan. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Michigan.
Okay.
How do you feel about them?
I think that they are. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to take your pick down.
Nah, do what you do. Do what you do.
If I look at my bracket here really quickly.
Right. Take a look at your bracket.
I think I had them losing in the Sweet 16.
Did you?
I believe I did.
I have them going all the way.
Really?
And you would not believe who I had them playing.
Oh, no, I have them winning, okay?
Okay, there you go. See, you're a smart man. I told you were smart.
I had them winning, but I had Georgetown here. I know they're playing Florida State. I think Florida State's a pretty good team.
I think Georgetown win.
But I think Michigan. I mean, Michigan will beat Florida State. But then if they do win, they play the winner of Alabama and UCLA.
Yeah.
I have Alabama winning that matchup. I don't have them going past the Elite Eight, Michigan. Okay.
That's it.
That's it. Just one more game for Michigan.
Well, I actually had at the championship, believe it or not, I had Ohio State in Michigan.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Whoo.
Yeah. I got the boot like early in the tournament.
Early. I had okay. So my final is Gonzaga and Baylor. How do you feel about that?
Gonzaga and Baylor. Baylor has been a real surprise for me, believe it or not.
They've been playing pretty good.
They've been playing real good. In every sport, we all go through cruise control, and every once in a while, we always have that 1 week or day or hour that we click it on.
Yeah.
And Baylor is at that era right now. They're clicked it on, and they're playing superb basketball right now.
They're taking on Villanova here at today at 5:15. So Villanova, past champion a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Still a good basketball team.
Not good basketball coach, not team.
Not team this year. Yeah,
nah. I mean they're in the tournament. I understand, but compared to the past,
no, they're not the same.
Not close.
What do you think about Oral Roberts, man? How did they get this far?
Man, I don't know. Every year we have a Cinderella. If you remember, not too long ago, Florida was experiencing the same thing with, I believe it was
FGCU, Dunk City.
No. Was that the coast, Florida Gulf Coast?
Yeah, Florida Gulf Coast.
Is that Dub City? Was
Dunk
it?
City, they call
Dunk
it.
City, that's
Dunk
what it was.
City.
That's right. So, every year we have that Cinderella.
Yep.
But for some reason, this feels a little different, man. This Cinderella feels a little bit more validated.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
It is.
I mean, I'm happy they beat Florida because I'm a Hurricanes fan.
Right.
So that was nice. But how much farther can they go? I don't know. When you look, like, what was the one a couple of years ago? Loyola Chicago, who is now actually a higher seed than they ever were.
Mm-hmm.
They look like they can march on just like they did when they were in Cinderella story. I mean, college basketball at this time in March, it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Well, Austin, it was a great pleasure again working with you today.
Yes,
I know we're about to go to break and end it up for the day. But before we do, I would like everyone that's listening to know, and if they can, wish my friend here, Austin, a belated happy birthday. And I have something for you. Here you go, my brother.
All right.
If I can get it on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. Well, here you go.
Yo, it's rock solid. If your birthday is today or
happy
this
birthday,
month,
man.
you gotta celebrate right
Everybody
now.
listening,
Bring
thank
out
you
the
so much.
bubbly or make it toast.
We're going to see you next week. Abel, thank you for clicking all the right buttons, as David Dwork says. It's been a pleasure. And as for Red Card Radio and myself, Austin Robillard, I want to say thank you, and we will see you next week, Saturday at 11 a.m. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Birthday, go and act a fool. Today is your birthday, what you gonna do? I'm gonna celebrate all day, me too. Today is my birthday, what you gonna get me? I'm headed to the club, baby, come party with me. Let's make a toast, why? It's a celebration. The day that I was born, show me love, stop hating. I get that cake, I get that cream. Today I don't stress, I just stay fresh and clean. Walk with a lean, show that birthday swagger. Collect that money, baby, nothing else matters. Put on a fresh fit and some brand new kicks. I'm another year older, where's my birthday licks? Don't trip, that means I'm more grown and sexy. Today I want my family and friends to all sweat me. Even if there's no more Bacardi, gonna live my life like it's one big party. Cheers to the birthday boys and girls who survived another year living in this crazy world. Today is your birthday, it's all about you. Today is your birthday, go and act a fool. Today is your birthday, what you gonna do? I'm gonna celebrate all day, me too. Today is your birthday, it's all about you. Today is your birthday, go and act a fool. Today is your birthday, what you gonna do?
Welcome to OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk.
This is like rock and roll with no music.
Follow us on social media at OnSide Radio.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit more2adhd.com for additional information. That's more2adhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
These are unprecedented times, challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans! Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. And time to get in the zone. The Onside Zone.
And look, man, I don't care if you're my wife. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to say it. You know what I mean?
The Onside Zone.
He's a liar. And there's nothing new about that. He's full of crap. If you're believing that, I got a bridge in the Keys. It's the one on the right side. Just want you to know, when you're going south, you'll see the smaller bridge on the right. I've got that one for sale if you're interested.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
That's the one boy band that I will say, dude, I'll stand up for Boys to Men every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Love those guys.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnSideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. The Onside Zone with a big O.
All right.
I need to know
Oh, welcome aboard. Good afternoon, boys and girls. How you feeling? It's a Friday. Let me ask you something. Is there a part of you right now that you feel like you committed a crime? Right? How about you, Tito? Do you feel like a criminal right now?
No, not really.
You should. Everybody in the Heat Nation, everybody in that Heat building, we should all feel like thieves. I got to tell you, because they just robbed some folks last night, okay? They robbed the Rockets last night. They robbed the Kings last night. I mean, those trades. And listen, I'm not telling you that they added the greatest players since sliced bread, but they gave up absolutely nothing. You know, I was not, as you all know, if you follow it every day, I wasn't already on board on the Kyle Lowry move. Because I wasn't ready to part ways with the young guys. And and if you listen to Riley, you know, he felt the same way I did, actually. He wasn't ready to give up on the young guys. And kind of the plan, it's funny, right? Because everybody's reporting that the plan was, oh, they're trading this, trading that, and oh, they got Hero, or they got Tyler, or they got Duncan involved in these mix, and Achua, and it was completely the opposite. And I'm sure they would have parted with one of those guys in the Lowry move, but obviously they wanted a lot more, and they weren't going to do that. And then with everybody else, it seemed like the young guys weren't part of the mix because all the other options were not. And what did I tell you the entire time, Tito? I'd rather stay flexible. Did I not say that? Did I not say I'd rather keep the cap space than bring on the old player? What did Riley say last night? He wanted to keep the flexibility too. He wanted to help the team however he could, but not part ways with young people and keep their flexibility. That's you know why? And I like this because they learned their lesson from the Johnson & Johnson, Whiteside, Waiters mess. They learned their lesson. They made 4 dumb moves, and they tied themselves to those players, and they had no flexibility for a couple of years. And listen, not only was I not on the Whiteside signing and all that, I also didn't believe the bullshit that was thrown around by the Heat, by writers that follow the Heat. Oh, no, these contracts are all interchangeable. You'll be able to trade them easily. They weren't. They weren't. You had to wait till the back end of those deals to finally get rid of those guys because those contracts were not easily tradable. I never believed that. I never believed in Whiteside, and I'm glad that they learned their lesson because I like Lowry. Hell, I got him on my damn fantasy team, so of course I like him. It's one of my starting guards. But that doesn't mean that I want him for the Heat by giving up the future. I'm sorry. It's just you're now tying yourself to too many old players, and that's not the direction you want to go in. You're already in a youth movement. So stay with it. Stay with the development. Precious Achiuwa will get an entire offseason now. He'll get to play Summer League. He'll get to play in the G League. And then, obviously, in the NBA. I don't know what they'll do next year, if he'll alternate between G League and NBA, or they keep him all year in the G League just to really develop him. I don't know, but at least he'll have the opportunity to develop. Max Strus, another guy. So far, he's shown us a little some. Now they get an offseason to work with Max Strus. Might be another shooter you develop. And yet, you keep your flexibility, which, what's the latest now, Tito? Kawhi Leonard. That's the latest now. That Kawhi Leonard could be part of the mix because Kawhi Leonard may ask out from the Clippers if he may opt out of the Clippers if he doesn't see that they're building it in the right direction. It's funny. And, you know, they made the move for Rondo and the whole leadership thing. And it's hilarious because that's exactly my criticism of the Clippers last year. And I pointed that out. Do you remember, Tito? When I said that the Clippers, while Kawhi's a great player, he's not a leader, actually. And he benefited from going to Toronto where they already had leaders, where they already had a culture in place. He benefited from San Antonio where they already had leaders, where they already had a culture in place. So all he had to do was do his job, and obviously we know he does his job better than most. He's not the guy to rah-rah. He's not the guy that's going to get in people's faces. He's not the guy that's going to demand from others. He's not that guy. He just walks in, does his job, and leaves. He's not a leader. He's a winner. He's a baller. He's a monster. Sure, I'm not ever going to deny that. The kid can play. But it's funny how they had to go get Rondo to get leaders. So maybe he can come to Miami because Jimmy Butler can lead. Bam Adebayo can lead. And all he has to do is his job. Now, I don't know. You getting on the Kawhi bandwagon now there, Tito?
I've been on the Kawhi bandwagon.
There you go.
I called it, I think, like in October. Remember, Kawhi called Jimmy first, not Paul George.
I think Kawhi fits here.
Yeah,
perfectly.
He fits in line with the culture.
Because he'll work. He'll keep his mouth quiet. He'll just play. It's just he's not going to be Alonzo Mourning, bro. It's just he's not going to be Tim Hardaway. He's not going to be Dwayne Wade. He's not going to be LeBron James.
Yeah, but you can expect Spo to get the best out of him, though.
No. You're misunderstanding me. I'm not talking about the player. I'm not worried about the player. Spo won't develop him into a leader. It's not what he is. He's not a leader. He's a winner. He's a baller. He's a mercenary. He's not a leader. He's not the guy that brings people together. He's just the guy that brings the lunch pail to work and is better than most people on the court and just does his job and gets the hell out. That's it.
I'll take it.
He's Jimmy Chitwood. Just, really quiet. Just leave him alone. You know what I mean? You don't call the shot for him at the end of the game. Everybody's looking down, and all of a sudden, the coach is asking, "What's wrong with you guys?" Well, no, Coach, we think Jimmy should take the shot. And then finally, Jimmy looks up and says, "Yeah, I'll make it, Coach." All right, let's go. Run that picket fence. You know what I'm saying? That's Kawhi Leonard. He's Jimmy Chitwood. And he actually would fit here because he doesn't have to be a leader. He doesn't have to say a damn thing. He just wants to come ball and go home and be left alone. That's it.